On 7's Gold Coast News, a Titan in trouble. Former captain Kevin Proctor's punishment for this vaping video. The beach cleanup begins, how long it will take to clear our coastline, plus the muddy mess left behind at Splendour. Surfers Paradise residents demand the mayor resign over a car park. A jet boat racer trapped underwater during a terrifying crash. High-rise Harry's plan for this Surfers Paradise site. And the new diner where you'll be served more than just a meal.
Live from the Gold Coast, 7 News with Amanda Abate.
Good evening. The Gold Coast Titans have sensationally sacked former captain Kevin Proctor. Josh Riberich, the 33-year-old, posted a video of himself vaping online.
He did, Amanda, and despite it now being deleted, it has cost him his place at the club. The video showed him vaping inside a cubicle at Combank Stadium at half-time during yesterday's loss to the Bulldogs. In a statement, the Titans said Proctor has been released from his commitments with the club for the remainder of the year and will not return to train or play. His actions were in breach of both NRL and stadium regulations. We'll have more reaction on this later in sport and next in the news at 6.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Well, calm conditions have returned after wild weather ripped across the Gold Coast. Beaches are back open, scarping is being fixed, and surfers are soaking up the swell at our southern points.
Barrel after barrel, surfers spoilt for choice.
Today's the best, so it's a bit more experienced surfers out there today.
The sun back, drawing big crowds at Coolangatta. Mick Fanning making an appearance. The swell still powerful.
The rock on my head, I pushed it to the shoulder and it went bang. Broke the leg rope, snapping too.
But on the sand are remnants of the damaging East Coast low. Debris sprawled across Jaramba and sand ripped away at Burleigh. But the worst of it is further north. The walkway at Main Beach still closed and danger signs at Narrowneck.
Narrowneck is a very vulnerable part of our city. Let's look at upgrading our artificial reef out there.
Council crews are scrambling to fix the damage caused to our beaches, promising they will be back to normal in less than 48 hours.
Locals are just happy to see the sun.
Perfect weather. Just going for a walk to enjoy it.
It's awesome weather here.
After a very wet winter.
It's been absolute garbage. We've lived in Queensland for 48 years and it's been the worst winter we've ever experienced.
Caitlin Stedman, 7 Gold Coast News.
Festival goers have unleashed fury at this year's Splendour in the Grass organisers for what they've described as a nightmare of a weekend. Revellers claim the event was poorly organised and that flooding and mud was just the beginning.
Just when they thought they could finally go home, they couldn't. Towed from the thick mud by a tractor.
It was like knee deep at various points. It was like a soup or a paste.
Campers poured from the parklands, leaving behind muddied boots and belongings.
It's unlike anything I have ever seen. I think I made it what it was and we made it fun.
The mess even followed them to the Gold Coast airport.
Look at my shoes.
Sick. I just want to get home, eh?
Slamming the planners for poor organisation, particularly on Saturday night when some waited up to 6 hours for a bus from the event.
People were freezing, passing out, there was no food, and we had to share cans of water.
It was really badly organised. I don't think any thought went into anything. The shuttles, the campers. We didn't even have running water half the time and we were staying in tents sitting.
The organisers have admitted they weren't prepared for the weather and that staff shortages had an impact, but today they refused to answer any questions from the media.
Issuing a statement this afternoon, we apologise for any inconvenience you may have experienced. It certainly wasn't our easiest show, but even with the trials and tribulations, we are so happy to be back, although some say they won't be next year. Carly Madsen, 7 Gold Coast News.
Well, now to Tony Auden. And Tony, with conditions settling down, it's also set to warm up.
Yes, Amanda, we have one day of warmth tomorrow before the next cool change, but given how cold this winter has been, I think that warmth will be a welcome change for many. Winds set to turn northerly tomorrow ahead of this trough arriving from inland parts here. That will send daytime temperatures around 2 degrees above average, the July average for much of the Gold Coast. Looking at tops around 23, even 24 degrees. Then temperatures dropping again from Wednesday. Amanda, I'll be back soon with the forecast.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thanks, Tony. A man who was seriously injured after crashing his car in a road rage incident has avoided jail time. 2 cars were weaving and driving dangerously through traffic on the M1 near Gavin in September last year. Lyndon Mallinson was left in a back brace after rolling his gold Volkswagen and smashing into a tree.
It's been so emotional and I'm in so much pain. I've got to go. Sorry, I'm in so much pain.
Mallinson was fined $7,500 and placed on a 12-month probation. Angry Surfers Plaza residents have called for the mayor to be sacked over his involvement in the sale of the neighbouring bowls club. They stand to lose 150 parking spaces if the transaction goes ahead.
Wielding placards.
We need security. You know, we're good people.
Surfers Plaza Resort residents deliver a personal message to the mayor.
I get that all the time.
It's a fight over parking. The Surfers Plaza has none. Residents have been leasing close to 150 spaces next door under the Bowls Club. Some of that land is owned by council, the rest by Mayor Tate and a business partner. It's been sold, the group today lodging a petition to freeze the transaction. Residents say there was an agreement in place with council protecting the spaces.
That situation has changed. There's no explanation why.
There is an opportunity for Body Corporate to apply to council for a development application to build an adequate car park here at Walsh Family Park. Another solution was offered.
It gave them the opportunity to acquire our holding.
The petition is also calling on council to ensure 150 car parks are retained for residents if the site is redeveloped.
I already spoke to the incoming buyer. He's happy to sit down and negotiate and help out.
The sale is set to settle in September.
Council should not be selling that land.
Unless people power prevails. Kate Ryan, 7 Gold Coast News.
There's been some relief at the Bowser, with unleaded dipping below $1.70 on the Gold Coast. Service stations in Nerang remained the cheapest at $1.67.9, but diesel prices still remain high, with the lowest price $2.16.9 at Mollendina. The Mayor will write to the Premier in a bid to get the Springbrook Cableway off the ground. Council wants to gauge the state government's interest in the controversial project before spending money consulting with traditional landowners. The proposed $170 million attraction would take tourists on a scenic ride through the World Heritage listed Springbrook National Park. A jet boat racer has survived a terrifying crash during a race at Cabarita. He was trapped underwater after a high-speed rollover. Today, his driver recounted the moment. It all went wrong.
The high-speed run was just 6 seconds in when everything went wrong for Chris Edmonds and Jamie Moroney.
And it's gone wrong big time.
The driver and passenger were pinned and only one could breathe.
On its side and in the water, the safety crew getting there very, very quickly because Jamie's actually underwater.
16 seconds ticked by, Jamie thrashing underwater before the boat was rolled upright. Eventually, the navigator was rescued and collapsed on the bank.
Jamie was kicking. He was just trying to get his head above the water, and I couldn't quite reach over to undo his belt.
Some drivers take extra precautions, running supplementary oxygen tanks for situations just like this. But in this case, the crew didn't have the optional safety system on board.
This is what it's about. It's motor racing.
Jamie has recovered and returned home. He will be back racing at the next event.
Well, sensation here.
Josh Adsett, 7 Gold Coast News.
An incredible story of survival. Well, coming up, one of Australia's richest men buys lucrative land in Surfers Paradise. We reveal what he has planned. Plus, the reason behind this unusual dance performance at Hotter, and your exclusive look inside the unusual new diner that's opening in Surfers Paradise.
When it affects the Gold Coast, you need to know.
Wherever it's happening, we'll be there.
Local news is the heartbeat of the community. Know the weather and waterways.
And local sport.
Know the issues hitting home.
Know what it means for the Gold Coast.
7 Gold Coast News at 5:30.
Mayor Tom Tate heads to the UK tonight for a trade delegation. He'll join 26 local business leaders on the largest mission on record. Making movies here on the coast, the top of his agenda.
The ultimate bit would be that in the near future we would have another major size film studio on the Gold Coast.
The Mayor will also cheer on Gold Coast athletes at the Commonwealth Games. Australia's king of high-rises is once again eyeing off Surfers Paradise, renewing confidence in the construction industry. Harry Triguboff has snapped up a lucrative piece of land that could be home to a new shopping precinct.
The man who changed the Gold Coast skyline sealing the deal on the former Vomitron site.
We just saw it and we bought it.
For decades, Harry Triguboff has built tower after tower, and the 89-year-old hasn't given up on his love of Surfers Paradise.
I go there with my wife. She likes to walk on the beach. So we walk on the beach and I build in the afternoon.
Once playing putt-putt where his future development will be built.
And it's great that he's got confidence in the city.
The block has been on the market since 2016, sold by Chinese investors. The sale price kept under wraps. High-rise Harry doesn't plan on breaking records.
I'm not playing games how high I can get or low I can get.
But it could be home to a new shopping precinct.
This time we can do it. And it definitely requires it, and they got the people living around.
Big enough to house 1,000 apartments above.
Good on Harry. Everyone watches him. If he's investing more on the Gold Coast.
And investing in the future of the glitter strip. Courtney Dunn, 7 Gold Coast News.
More than 100 locals have pulled on red dresses and danced as part of a unique fundraising event. The group performed at Hotter, recreating the iconic dance moves from Kate Bush in her 1978 #1 hit, Wuthering Heights. The choreographed dance event was held to support local domestic violence charity, The Sanctuary. Coming up, get ready for a rude shock. The new Surfers Paradise diner, where you'll be greeted with a scowl. Your exclusive look inside a little later in the bulletin. But never with a scowl. Sally Pearson has tonight's sport. Sally, it's turned into a season from hell for the Titans.
Never with a scowl, but when we talk about Titans, hello everybody, just ahead, panic stations at Parkwood, Vape Gate prompts a review. Plus, never say die while the Suns refuse to give up on their finals dream.
Tomorrow on Sunrise, $100 worth of petrol for only $1. The most extreme bargains are here and we will reveal the best deals.
Plus, Curtis Stone is live in the kitchen with a simple, healthy and delicious winter meal. See you in the morning, Gold Coast.
It's panic stations at Parkwood. As you heard earlier, Titans forward Kevin Proctor has been shown the door, ending a turbulent tenure on the Gold Coast. 7 News understands former NRL footy boss Brian Canavan has been called in to conduct a club-wide review.
Kevin Proctor didn't show up to the club today, but sources have told 7 News QRL chair Brian Canavan did. It's understood he's conducting a wide-ranging review, while Kevin's contract has gone up in vapour. He's no stranger to controversy, stripped of the captaincy in 2017 after being caught with cocaine, suspended 3 years later for biting. Off contract, this was the final straw, and another black eye after a 10-point bruising from the Bulldogs.
These guys are trying so hard and we just need a bit more direction out on the field.
Tino was targeted. They sought revenge for his treatment of Matt Burton in Origin. The most eye-catching act was played down post-game.
Accidental and that's footy. Sometimes you don't know where your hand is.
Corey Waddell's been referred straight to the judiciary for dangerous contact. The Titans are staring down 9 straight losses, facing the Raiders next.
We're just not good enough at the moment. It's not...
Mitch Crone, 7 Gold Coast News.
The Suns refused to give up on a maiden finals run, despite their hopes all but going up in smoke in Saturday's Q Clash. Recovering today at Tallebudgera Creek, Marcus Ashcroft medalist Tuke Miller says he believes anything can happen at this time of year.
I mean, you just got to watch the footy week to week, and it just feels like it's never ending. Like, what can happen, the implications for any team at the moment in top 8.
The Suns host West Coast Sunday afternoon. And there's been heartbreak for Gold Coast hurdler Liz Clay, a fractured foot forcing her to withdraw from the Commonwealth Games. She sustained the injury after taking a heavy tumble at last week's World Athletics Championships. And he had his bike, clothes and passport stolen from his hire car, but it did little to hinder Logan Martin's X Games campaign. He scored his 3rd straight gold in the BMX Park on Saturday, vaulting from 7th to 1st in his final run. And it just shows you can't keep a champion down, man.
No way. Only a little bit of good news in there too,
yes.
Sal. Thank you. Coming up after the break, the rude waiters ready to serve up a storm in Surfers Paradise.
And warmer tomorrow, but a cooler change isn't far away. I'll have your Gold Coast forecast coming up next.
Tonight on 7 News, taxi and Uber, delays and cancellations.
The lack of information.
Driving customers mad, leaving many stranded.
I've had to wait up to 2 hours.
How to guarantee your ride. Plus, our chronic elective surgery delays. Can you fast-track your operation? 7 News is Queensland's news.
Well, it's known as the best, worst restaurant and it opens on the Gold Coast tonight. 7 News was given an exclusive look inside the new Karen's Diner in Surfers Paradise, and be warned, it's not for the faint-hearted.
Welcome to a hospitality worker's dream.
Like, what do you want? Do you have a booking?
At Karen's Diner, you'll get served more than just your order.
Come, sit down.
Food is great, the staff are not.
There's your food. Eat up.
A real kitchen nightmare.
Hey babe, have you printed out the bill for 25? I need to leave. I'm busy.
To say all the things that we wish we could say in every other job. So we get to tell the customers exactly how we feel about them, and if they're up for it, they can have a go at being rude back, if they dare.
The business now ready for its first round of customers in Surfers Paradise.
And it's the Gold Coast, so probably a lot of vegans, a lot of people who want to take off their food, a lot of people who think they're influencers and aren't.
But it's a diner suited best for adults.
You can come in with under 16-year-olds if you have a guardian with them, but why you would want to bring children here, I'm really not sure.
The diner will be taking its first orders from 5 p.m. tonight. That is if the rest of the staff decides to turn up. I'm ready to order now.
Here's your water.
And if your name is Karen,
you get a discount, that's about it.
Josh Ribberich, 7 Gold Coast News.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Max Butcher is here now with the top stories coming up soon in the news at 6.
Amanda, coming up, doctors warn of a Queensland hospital catastrophe as the COVID surge pushes EDs to the brink, plus the plea for better ventilation in schools. New petrol price relief for Gold Coasters. Companies offering big cash rewards for new employees. The new online spies targeting children. Stay protected. Our chronic elective surgery delays. Can you fast-track your operation? Taxis and Ubers leaving customers stranded. How to guarantee your ride. The Gold Coast Titan caught up in a game day vaping scandal. And who'll be headlining the Commonwealth Games opening ceremony in Birmingham? 7 News at 6.
Thank you, Max. Well, it's warming up. Here's Tony with the weather.
Thanks, Amanda. Yes, a beautiful day to start the new working week. Sunny skies, lighter winds and still plenty of waves to keep surfers happy too, and temperatures on the rise. Checking the current conditions in Coolangatta, it's still mild on 18 degrees. Winds have turned around to the east-northeast this afternoon for the first time in a few days. Across the coast today, blue skies most of the time. Canungra coldest overnight on 4 degrees. We saw a few tops around 22 for Robina, Nerang and Coomera. Onto the satellite, a little bubble high pressure system sitting right overhead here. That's helping to keep any significant cloud away and also bringing these lighter winds today. Elsewhere, a trough sweeping across southeastern states here. That will move across New South Wales tomorrow, bringing showers there, but also traverse southern Queensland. We'll see warmer northerly winds on the coast tomorrow ahead of that system, then a cooler change from Wednesday after it moves through late tomorrow night. Across the coast tomorrow, some early fog for the hinterland, then a sunny morning, a little bit of patchy cloud and the odd fleeting shower into the afternoon. Not much, even if you do get a couple of drops, so I've left it off the icons here for now. Warming up, 8 to 25 degrees for Yatala, even coastal spots pushing up around 23 degrees. In Surfers Paradise, a mostly sunny Tuesday on the way, but there is that slim 20% chance of a shower into the late afternoon. 11 tonight, a top of 23 degrees. Abate's northwesterly winds starting around 10 to 20 knots. They'll turn westerly, push up to 30 knots late evening. A check in today's surf, it wasn't as big as the weekend, but probably some of the best conditions of the year today. Waves and barrels galore on those southern points and some solid sets in there too. Tomorrow, just a slight drop in that swell, but still some overhead sets out of the southeast, but winds turn more northwesterly, so the points won't be great. You'll have to try the beaches early, and there will be a lot of water moving around there. Now, looking further ahead, more sunshine for a few days yet, but we are set to cool down from Wednesday onwards. Tops of 19 or 20 degrees through to the weekend, a little bit of extra cloud and a possible shower early next week. Amanda, we will need to enjoy tomorrow's warmth while we can.
Okay, no complaints though with that. Thank you, Tony, and thank you for your company this evening. I'll be back with more Gold Coast news tomorrow at 5:30. The news at 6 is starting now. Good night.